So we are now a year and 3 months into life with COVID.
Yes.
What were you doing last year this time, and how are you feeling now?
Well, I started making masks very quick, or when there was really limited mask around. So that's the first. And then I had a bit of promotion and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I also did more, like, you know, to almost ask my customers to help me to survive it. So I had like a 20% down thing.
Yeah.
And then I already opened in May. So I opened as soon as they allowed us to open.
Yes.
I opened. And it is slower, but it's almost, I think, better that it's slower. You know, that we don't, for me, it's almost better that there is less, you know.
Mhm.
I'm still producing probably the same as I always produced.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I think with this third wave now, it is tricky. It is tricky. But it is to meet your customer and, you know, to perhaps the next thing to create cash flow will be to do a promotion again or something.
Because
Yeah.
I'm wondering how your creativity was affected by it. Because I know for me at the beginning, I
Yeah.
was in such a tailspin.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
April, May, June, I was like a
Yeah.
spin top.
Yeah.
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 And then we had 6 family members infected, so all of them. My mother
Yeah.
was then in hospital for 30 days. And you just don't, you literally, for somebody who's
Yeah.
always
There
had a
was a lot
handle
of
on their
fear.
lives,
Yeah.
it felt incredibly
Yeah.
unsettling.
There was a lot of fear, but I think this resetting, we actually, I think we couldn't have moved on without this happening. I think it is actually very timely that this is happening.
But what are we learning?
We're learning less, but yeah, to see, to feel everything more conscious, you know, to really have a conscience about everything we do, and yeah, to really consider what, you know, where and every, you know, like even getting up in the morning and yeah, to just go for the essence of things and
I
yeah,
like that.
slow,
Go for
yeah,
the essence of
less,
things.
yeah.
I like that.
But less is a terrible word because I'm actually, I believe I'm a maximalist.
But I guess what I'm hearing you say is just the necessary stuff. So the essentials versus the frivolous.
Yeah.
Okay.
To cut the corners, and I think to zone in and to feel what is essential and what, you know, like that you stand in your you know, you stand in your space and feel your space and be aware of your impact around you.
And on other people as well.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So do you have a practice? Because other
really.
people were like, no, so I've learned how to meditate, I've started running, I've started because all of us are just trying to shape. So I was an occasional runner, now I'm just a crazy runner. But I've learned to run without music, which gives me time to reflect. Literally, I meditate. Running for me is meditative. And that's what keeps me sane.
Okay.
What keeps you sane?
Completely pulling back, I would say. So I get up early in the morning and I do almost like a half an hour to an hour where I actually just sit. Yeah. And so I have slow mornings before I start. And then these days I'm very, very serious about my Sundays. I've got a human-free Sunday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't see any humans on Sunday. Well, most Sunday. I mean, it's like I do.
You make exceptions.
Yeah, but I do feel you have to completely just shut everything out. Yeah.
You see, that explains why I love you so much, because I'm also on that Sunday tip.
Yeah.
Like literally Sundays for me are disconnect.
Yes,
if it's an emergency,
you're
just gonna have to wait till Monday. Like
because
I'm not. And let me tell you why I even got to this detached Sundays. I used to work in advertising, and one client rang me on a Sunday, right, to say to me, I'm driving on the M1 North, and I can see this billboard, and my wife doesn't like the ad.
Sure.
On a Sunday. So then I say to him, why? I know, right? This is what I told the guy. I said, don't call me on a Sunday because I can only fix it on a Monday.
Yes,
So
yes,
then I
yeah.
drew the
You
line
can't
there.
do
And I said, no,
anything.
it's not
You
going to happen.
can't do anything, huh? Yeah.
So, but do people understand your human-free Sundays? Do
That
you
it's-
have to
you have to
communicate?
you have to always explain it to people. Yeah, because especially social things, I think
Yes.
it breaks your mojo completely.
Yes.
Yeah, you actually the whole day you're working towards that time, and it then breaks even that free time you have in the morning. So for me, Sunday is about completely. I just. Whatever happens when
I
it
celebrate
happens.
that. Because, and oftentimes
Yeah.
on Sundays, it's not because I have an agenda. It is
Yeah.
the only agenda is
that
me.
there's no
Yeah.
agenda.
So
So
I'll do
whatever, because
works.
I sometimes do a few things that will make my next week easier.
Yeah.
That I do deal with a few things that comes up,
Mm.
but mostly I'm just like almost like sif, you know.
But no, I love
I'm a
that.
non-person.
You see,
I'm actually
I
a
love that.
non-person on a Sunday.
See, that explains
Yeah.
so much. You see,
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
more layer,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
more layer of affection.
Yeah.
So talk to me about creativity, because and I know earlier on you said you think it's part of your DNA, or it's something you can cultivate and can be your essence. There's so much conversation about whether there's something called African creativity, or it's just a cluster called creativity.
Okay, I think like I say, it is where you come from.
Yeah.
But I think your immediate does play a role.
Mhm.
I mean, you do whatever you see, even going into town. I think when I was really starting, I also looked a lot at what poor people wear. For me,
Yes.
it was quite just that almost like combining overall with clothes, with
Yes.
stuff. And so those kind of things, I mean, you do see, like I say, you can't get away from what's around you. So I think, so I do I go a lot still to town, and so it does play a role being in Africa.
I think it makes a
And
difference.
also the fact that there's less resources.
Yes.
I think it plays a big role because we don't get the best fabrics here. I think we're exporting our best fabrics to Europe.
And our best oranges.
And I think everything. So I think also being here, you are much more resourceful. And you have to work almost with the ugly, So I sometimes go into town. I think the fabric that I buy is rejects.
Wow.
That's good quality fabric, but if you really look at the fabric, there's a flaw in it or
Yes.
something. And I also think in this time, it's also good to almost look at the ugly and actually think how you can change the
make
ugly
that
into something. Yeah. That at one point I was even thinking, but it never happened, that if you go actually to these shops where all these rejects are ending up,
Yes.
and you actually could start making new
From the old.
from the old. But it's actually much harder, because you think you can just quickly chop and,
Yes.
But that would actually be, I think a lot of designers did that during COVID, is they went into their own store, but I don't. I usually, I don't have that much old stock.
Yes.
I usually deal with my stock continuously, and I almost never end up with, most of my
unsold
stock is
inventories.
like a year old, or, I would even give clothes to people. I would rather, instead of it hanging here, I would say,
Yes.
just take the jacket, wear it.
Yes.
Because it's more, so I don't have a lot of old stock, but I think some big brands probably had loads.
Warehouses filled with stuff.
And then it became like a thing that you started using the old, making the new. And so I think, Africa does play. I think we must also realize we are Africa.
Yes.
Because I think there's so many people that would say, let's choose Japanese Zen. Then I think, fuck
off.
We are African.
Yes.
Or somebody said to my friend, oh, Melville is going so Africa. Melville's becoming
So
so Africa.
I'm like, what
A
the
real
fuck?
estate person said to a friend of mine that, oh, Melville is now so Africa.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but
Where were we before?
we are Africa, you know, so I think we must really realize who we are, you know.
Yes.
And I mean, I am a European in Africa. I was born here, but
Yes.
it is to realize that we are who we are. Not to,
I like that Melville is becoming so African.
yeah, you know, like where the fuck
were
are
we?
you? You know, I think it is to live with the ugly and to live with things falling apart and to
Yes.
live with, because I remember when I was growing up and it was still apartheid years and everything was so clean. And we took a trip to Lesotho and the grass was long there and there was cows on the street. I thought, fuck, it's amazing. Yes, Rosemary coming. And, you know, I just thought it was amazing, the decay. I thought, wow.
There's some
And now,
disorder.
now that's what's happening here. But I think it is to accept decay and realness and have shit on your pavement and, you know, and yeah, because it is what it is, yeah. You know, not to always fight it, yeah.
But to embrace it and integrate it also into your creative process.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
The consistent theme though is you've always just said, pay attention, be aware, because I think life rewards curiosity, and you can't be creative if you're not curious.
Yeah, you have to look and you have to, and not be afraid, you know, not to be afraid of the other, you know, whatever the other is.
Yes.
Because people can so easily isolate themselves, and I think it's better to walk into a storm than to run away from it, you know?
See, my
Rather
kind of
walk
girl.
into
You see, and you'll figure it out when you get there.
Because there's
Right?
so many people think isolation is the
Yes.
solution,
Yes.
but it's actually to actually, I think also, you know your enemy, know your enemy, and you know, or what you think
What
is your
you think
enemy,
is your
but
enemy.
your enemy is your friend, you know.
So I've got like I like doing this. Actually, she's like this. She's like a 16-year-old goddaughter, and her brother's about 12. And I've always said to him, because he'll come in and he'll say, "I'm bored," and I'll say to him, "Excuse me, curious people are never bored,
Never,
because
yeah.
interested people are interesting.
Yeah.
If you're interested in something, you'll be
Yeah.
interesting to
Yeah.
someone.
Yes,
So
yes.
use your brain power to
Yeah,
discover
like
something that you can do with your hands. Read
Yeah,
something, you
that is-
find a new
yeah.
word. I mean,
You
I
have
am-
to. Yeah.
I
I mean,
improve-
I read without even thinking about reading.
See.
I don't even talk
You
about
see,
reading.
it's not even a thing that
because
you
it's
do.
something-
It is my life.
Yeah,
I
you
brush
have to
my
keep
teeth, I
asking
read.
questions. Yeah, you might never find answers, but
But that in
you might
itself,
just keep
but that in
asking.
itself is the
Yeah, I
joy.
think it's to run into things and to not be afraid, you know, and to take up space, and you know, because people will say, oh, you're like Melville's going Africa, but it's because I also think if you don't fill your own space, people will come and take your space.
Yeah.
So it's almost to say to them, this is my space, you
Yes.
know, and if you want to come in, you know, but you must know this is
These
my
are the
space, yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah, and it is to keep, you know, like I think in South Africa, all the towns and things, but, you know, people say, but people are retreating, but that's not the answer. The answer is not to retreat. The answer is to step
In
out.
and step into the other.
Yeah, whatever, yeah. Not to be like, oh, they, you know, the
Yes.
they.
Yes.
I mean, we must always define who
They
they
are.
Yeah.
And elitism is that function, right? Because elitism says, I am here superficially superior, and therefore
Yeah.
you are there.
Yeah,
And therefore,
they,
and yeah.
And it is to think, and it's to play, you know, to always try and do the best. I always say, I think it was Theodore Roosevelt that said it. Do what you can where you are with what you have. And I always believe, okay, so I'm just here on this corner.
Yeah.
And I can do the best I can here. Yeah.
And you
But
are
I'm
doing it.
also these days saying I'm not helping humans anymore. I think I'm really at the stage where I feel if we all, because I believe in equality,
Yes.
and because I believe in equality, I
Yeah.
think I'm here and I made this
Yes.
out of just my own resources.
Yes.
So you, as another human,
Yes.
can also, you know, why must I help you?
No, but that's an interesting
I'm
one.
starting to just feel less and less, you know, like, so I believe you are completely equal to me, but in that sense, I don't have to help you
Then you also have to step up.
because we are equal.
Okay, I got
You
it.
know what I'm saying to you almost.
So then you then also have to step up because
Yeah.
you have, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, that, you know, why must, you know, so I'm actually thinking these days that my only charity is going to go to animals, that I'm going to start helping animals.
No,
I
but-
think that on this planet, what needs our help the most is
Animals.
animals. As humans, I think we are already taking over.
No, but also it's so discouraging when you read about just what humans do to other humans. You're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm
See,
done.
I started doing charity work when I was in my early 20s. Me and a friend, we got street children off the street.
Yeah.
We bathed them all
Yes.
in my bath.
Yes.
They were
Yes.
dirty.
Yes.
We gave them new clothes,
Yeah.
new shoes, everything. So it was like, say, 10 of them.
Yes.
And then the next day already, they
There were 20.
already didn't have their shoes. already didn't have. So I was already thinking, hey, that it's not really helping.
No, it's not. It's not.
So it is a tricky thing.
It's a balance. I think
Because
that
I think, like you say, you have to. It's more than just the physical that you can help. You know, it's when I've said to a lot of people that is being on the street,
yes.
that I would actually tell him you have to start helping yourself. Yeah,
You have to
because
there's a thing I call learned helplessness.
Yeah.
Where if I give you crutches every day, you'll never learn to stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah.
So rather than me reinforce your helplessness by you're at the street corner, I give you have a board and I give you money because you're begging. I'm like, no, you have 2 arms and you're able-bodied.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah.
So if you can wash my car, fantastic. Then
Yes,
wash my
yeah.
car, then
If
I'll
there's
give you
something
something.
to do,
But I think what we've done is we've just created, because we've now made an industry of helplessness.
Yeah.
So every street corner, not because we lack compassion, but because what you feed grows.
Yes,
so if you're going to feed imagination, that's going to grow.
Yeah,
But if you're going to feed helplessness, that's also going to grow.
Yeah. So we have to almost say to people, so I just, I really feel you have to help yourself.
Or demonstrate to me how you're helping yourself. Because I also, when I speak at conferences, I'll often have young people come afterwards going, hi, could you please be my mentor? And my first question is, what are you going to teach me?
Yes.
And you should see their faces drop. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean I must teach you
Yeah.
something? You are the one who must teach me. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
No.
A mentorship is a relationship. It's an exchange.
Yeah.
You teach me something and I teach you something. Or we'll send them like 10 questions as a filter to see whether you're serious in committing to yourself.
Okay.
9 times out of 10 people don't write back.
Sure.
It's just 10 questions for you to
that's
tell me
already
about
too
yourself so that
much.
we
Yeah,
can decide whether we can work. But that's already too much because people would rather have you just say, here, here.
Yeah.
And I'm
so I
not
would
here for
sometimes even
laziness.
with people begging say, I also didn't make any money today, so
That is also
perhaps
true.
you can give me 10 rand.
That is also true.
Giving you 10 rand.
It's
I
been
mean,
rough.
I also need 10 rand today.
It's been rough. It's been
And then I
rough.
look at me like, really? And I'm
It's
like,
been
yeah,
rough.
really?
It's been rough.
Yeah.
So this show is called Full Circle.
Mm.
And I'll tell you why we called it Full Circle. Because for me, I'm now at a point in my life where I can integrate everything I've learned, everything I have read, everything I've been taught with everyone I love and respect.
Okay.
And the people I love and respect are people who live substantive lives. None of my people are celebrities trying to be in the light. I'm not that person.
Okay.
I'm the person who lives a life that is filled with substance. Because I argue that people of substance are the ones that have a lot more influence, whereas people of sight and sound can be impactful, which means we speak about you today because it's a big bang, but then 10 years later nobody knows your name because that's what happens with big bangs. So you, my friend, are a person of substance. Before I let you go, because I have loved chatting to you, please tell me what you think coming full circle means for you.
See, I think for me it will be to close the shop one day and to move to our port property in the Western Cape and to be less available.
And I can see this dehumaning is happening more and more.
And then not to go crazy. My biggest worry is that I might become, because I think the problem with free thinking is that you can actually become a free thinker in the wrong direction.
When is a free thinker in the wrong direction?
I'll just create that because I think it is good to be radical, but you can be radical in the wrong direction.
We'll come find you.
I'm just afraid I might. My biggest problem with the Western Cape, there's not enough black people there. So that's my first problem, going to the Western Cape. I might start having to import black people.
You're like, Zach, come down, we need more black people.
Because there's 1% something in the town that I bought property, so it's very scary.
It's very scary.
Okay, there's a lot of change. I need change. I need change in my life at this point. To also really, it's almost to think again, to like I say, to pull back to the essence.
Yes.
And because I think it's easy to just continue, but it is to pull back and to see if there's,
there's
to
something
hone
new to
into
learn.
something. I might start making art, also to see where that is.
But that's just expanding your creative field.
My field will be because I'm living 2 lives at the moment and it's very stressful. So I'm starting there. I've already bought property and I'm busy with renovations, but then I'm actually here. So that's keep on pulling me. But at the same time, I'm also thinking all the time, is it going to be the right thing to do? But as a creative person, I think you can create your world wherever you are. Yeah.
Anywhere.
Like I always think of Helen Martin, the Owl House, and she was in the middle of nowhere and she created a life for herself. So I do feel it is to always just think how you can impact where you are. But that will be the solution to my life, is to make my 2 lives 1 life.
And not lose your mind.
See, I'm actually, not to lose. I'm really afraid because it is this whole thing, as soon as you're off the normal think path, you can easily, what happens these days is that you can easily go further afield. And then in that further afield, you might actually embrace things that are completely. It's just that people that I think what's happening in the world now, people that you grew up with technology, with social media and stuff, with algorithms, people are taking paths that they would normally not have taken.
Yes.
And it is this whole thing that, so I am radical. So perhaps I'm against something, and then social, technology can create community that you might never have been a part of.
That is true.
They say that these days, especially my friends say, that there's, like hippies that were always peace and love is now perhaps, Trump supporters.
Yes.
Or people that you would never imagined would think a certain way. But it is technology feeding people and creating community. That I think if it was just in a normal physical world, that community might have never, formed.
That is true.
And now there is these
There is a joy, because I share with you this idea of how do I always say to people, coming full circle for me would be becoming afraid again. Yeah. So now it's just about doing things that make me feel afraid. Like I want to be a novice again. I want to learn anew. Because after 25 years of building brands for FMCGs, I've done that and I don't ever want to repeat myself. So the opportunity for you, I think, of transplanting and going into a new territory to learn new names, new people, new communities, all of that gives you an opportunity to start afresh.
Almost needs these city people to come in. Because I think there's so much conservativeness And what I also feel about the, especially Western Cape,
Yes.
that are actually, there's a lot of very racist kind of people there, is that they don't even know the person that they're actually against.
Yeah,
They actually don't know.
It's just that you look different, so
And you
I must
almost
not
think-
like you.
So you don't like black people, really?
Yes.
What the fuck do you know? You don't know nothing. Because I always think, we can learn more from,
Each other. We can.
yeah.
We can. And enrich each other's lives, actually.
Yeah, that it doesn't even matter in the end. Because I think it's also that if you really think in color, I think it's the most stupid thing on this planet to think that because somebody is just different looking,
They therefore must be.
That actually community is completely else. That that's this. So I don't think it's anything to do about how you look. So I think if you have to just break that one.
So we're moving to the Western Cape. When you're moving on the day, we're going to come with you on the truck just to create enough noise for people in the neighborhood to go, oh yeah, who has moved?
I will invite, because there's 1% black people. So I mean, it's like,
so if you have
there's 7,000 people in the town.
So 1% is 70
like
people.
100 or something.
Oh my word.
So I could actually invite all of them. Good party.
For the
So I just want to
housewarming.
know all the black people.
For the housewarming, it just scare
And we have a
everybody.
black house already.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because it is a new community that I must embrace, and I think it's going to be not easy.
But that's the joy of being creative, is that the moment when we are petrified and unsettled, our imagination kicks in.
Yes,
And that's how the world that's how the world moves forward.
Yes.
But you are an absolute joy, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks also, Zah.
So this was cool for you, right?
It was, like...
Like, did I ask you a question?
The hard part will be to watch myself again.
No, don't worry. You will sound as smart and as honest as you're sounding now. But thank you.